guys, this is Kamara with Rooted Futures. So let's do a pick a card, and I want to say thank you first of all for everyone who's supporting this YouTube channel, and thank you if you're connected to me on TikTok. I think things are really going well there, and I appreciate everyone's support. So this pick a card has been coming up as an idea that I think Spirit has been wanting me to do. And it's going to be a 5-group pick a card. And I think every pick a card, just for your information, will probably be around 15 minutes, at the most 20. And we're gonna have 5 groups. So if you haven't done a pick a card before, I'm going to give you 5 symbols. And you can see which one resonates with you, or you can go into the description box and look at the timestamps. And if you rather work with numbers, some of your favorite numbers, then you can pick your group by the number. Also know that these are general readings, so please only take what resonates, and you may watch more than one group. You may decide to watch all of them. So here's the topic. What would your higher self give me permission to share with your crush? And just say, for instance, your crush is like, doesn't know much about you. This is someone who maybe they see you at work, maybe they see you around the neighborhood, maybe they even see you on social media, maybe this crush just sees you around. And they don't know much about you, and they want to do like a little non-intrusive reading to find out a little bit more information about you. And this is what your higher self would give me permission to share. So yeah, let's go to the groups. So group number 1. Here is this beautiful shell for group number 1. Group number 2 will be this nice rose quartz cluster. Group number 3 will be this beautiful kind of like cone shape shell. Group number 4 will be this cowrie shell. Love it. And it has kind of like a pink with a little bit of a hole there. And group number 5 will be this petrified wood. It's kind of glossy. And that's group number 5. So take a moment, maybe I'll take a picture of them, a still picture, so that you can see in the next section. And just take a moment to reflect on what shape, maybe what object is calling the most to you. And then we're gonna go ahead and get started on the different groups. We're gonna dive into just a little bit about your character, your personality. I don't know if Spirit wants, we'll see if you want to share that you're single or if you're in a relationship. I don't know, but we'll see what comes up. We have several different decks to choose from, so this should be fun and exciting. And again, if you like the way that I read, please feel free to comment below. If something really resonates with you, please put a comment below. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you want to experience more of my readings, and you can click that bell if you want to get notified. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. Timestamps will be below. Okay, peace. Hello, group number 1. This is Kamara with Rooted Futures. Thank you for joining me. So this pick a card is going to be on what do I have permission from your highest self to share with your crush. And you chose this wonderful, beautiful little shell here, group number 1. So thank you for joining me here. Let's start off with a bibliomancy. I was being called by Spirit to use this Tao Te Ching, and it's actually a translation by Stephen Mitchell. I really love this version. It's just like a small little book. It's totally worn down. It's something I really love. If you've never read the Tao, it's just a very beautiful compilation of just how to navigate life in a very simple, conscious way. It's an ancient Chinese text. So I opened it up to a random page, and I'm just gonna read one passage from there that may give your crush just a general sense of like your spiritual energy. It says here, whatever is planted in the Tao, which is this kind of philosophy, will not be rooted up. Whatever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in high honor from generation to generation. So immediately, group number one, what I get about you is that you are a person who has been doing a lot of healing, intergenerational healing. So much so that your family has really holding you up in the work that you've done for the entire generation, for the entire bloodline. There's something about the way that you've been healing. Maybe you've even taken, some of you might have even taken a more leadership position within your family. If you feel like you're too young for that, it's almost as if elders are looking to you because you feel like, you know, some elders might even say to you, they feel like you embody your old grandfather or your old grandmother or your great-great-grandfather, your great-great-grandmother, or an old uncle or aunt who's passed on. They see a recent passed on ancestor in you. They feel like you're a reincarnation of someone who was highly respected, group number one. So it's, in a way, I would your higher self is saying that this crush needs to know that you're a very honorable person. There's something that you take very seriously, the work that you do with your ancestors. You take seriously your family work. You take seriously your bloodline, how you represent your family even. Now I picked out some cards, oracle cards, and then we'll get to some tarot readings as well. So group number one, you are, again, a person who honors transformation. That's a big part of your life. Your highest self wants to share with your crush that you're not a person that's just kind of whimsical. You're not a person that's kind of silly about life. You know, even though I think you can be full of joy, I think you can have a lot of happiness, you're actually a person that feels like they operate from a certain depth level. You are a person that changes quite often. As you grow, you will change. Some people who know you will say that you're not the same person you were last year, 5 years ago, even as a child. If someone went to high school with you, they're like, yeah, this person is not the same. You might even, to some people, look different. Because group number one, you're so committed to change. You're so committed to being a better person. And that is what your crush will be told. That your commitment to change is paramount in your life. Again, another deck and transformation comes forward. So another oracle card deck comes forward, and it's the same word, group number one, transformation. On this card, you will see that they're beautiful moths. And the moth is more of a nocturnal transformation. So the symbolism here about changing and transformation, you do a lot of that work in the unconscious level. The dark might mean something to you. You may have a lot of plutonic, like in your chart, Pluto may be very prominent. It may interact at what we call transits with a lot of different planets that have meaning for you. But there's something, somewhat of a starseed quality to you, group number one. And this change is in service of some kind of greater purpose. That is what Spirit is saying. And group number one, the herb that you got here to describe who you are is milk thistle. And it says peaceful warrior. There's something about you, some of you might meditate, some of you may be in some kind of like contemplative practice that's very peaceful. You've learned perhaps over the years, group number one, how to quiet your mind, how to even, for some of you, you may have had issues around anger sometimes in the past. You may have just kind of randomly, just kind of had like an outburst. Not so much like you were violent or anything, just something like you would have random outbursts of frustration. And I think you took on a practice, whether it was yoga, Tai Chi, or meditation, that allowed you to be more present and peaceful in your body. Even though I think that you are a person who, some of you might be activists, some of you may just be very passionate about a lot of social responsible issues or social cultural issues. And there's a way in which you can be very intense when it comes to those issues, group number one. But there's something inside of you in this practice that has made you more of a peaceful warrior. You're now able to, I think before you may not have had you wouldn't have been in touch with your emotions as much, but now you've developed a certain emotional intelligence. And that emotional intelligence, it allows you to communicate with people who in the past you may have just, brushed them off. You may have been very frustrated, decided that they weren't worth collaborating with, they weren't worth trying to work with. You've changed over the years with that. Now, group number one, you're able to see something positive in most people. And that is the result of this practice. I think this practice even helped you with your own inner criticism, your own sense of self-worth. So that milk thistle is speaking to that. Now we have this card here, kindness. Group number one, your kindness, it's almost childlike. And I think that some people, they get caught off guard with this because you allow your inner child to, be your co-pilot, basically. You know what I mean? You've learned over the years, I think it goes back to that peaceful warrior. You've learned how to utilize that part of yourself. This once wounded child gets to be reparented by you. You're able to offer what you've learned and given to yourself to others. And it says, live with integrity here on the back. It says, listen to your inner child, protect what you cherish, fiercely tender. And there is something about you that's just, you're fierce, but you're tender. You're a warrior, but you're peaceful. And there's people who can see that polarity in you, and they can see how it unifies into one person. And you are that person, group number one. You are someone that people deeply respect because of the work that you've done for yourself, because of the healing that you've done. Now you demonstrate that. You demonstrate that in your interactions with others. So group number one, the last oracle card has to do with a past life energy that you tend to use now. And you got the teacher. In some cultures, this teacher is a master, mentor. This could be an academic. So in a past life, you may have been one or all of those things. Ultimately, you teach people. And this could be in a very formal way, like you are an actual teacher, or it's just in the way that you navigate life. You model to other people how to be a whole embodied version of themselves simply by you doing that. I think you remember at the beginning of the reading, I said that your family could be very inspired by you. Even think that you had this past life that maybe belonged to a family member that was really respected. Like maybe they look at you and they say, this is definitely our great-great-grandfather, or this is definitely Uncle or Auntie Sarah, or Uncle Joe, Auntie Sarah, these people see you as someone who has wisdom maybe beyond their current years. Like, you could be young, but there's some kind of wisdom that you carry that people are just like, you're definitely a reincarnation, if you believe in that. Otherwise, people in general feel like they trust your wisdom, they trust your knowledge, group number one. So your crush would hear that, you know, like your higher self is saying they want your crush to know that you are a person of integrity, a person that has had to learn a lot of life lessons, but you've learned them well. You've been very obedient to spirit, group number one. So if they were going to get in a relationship with you, if they wanted a relationship with you, what would that energy be like? What does spirit want them to pay attention to? What was your higher self say would be the next move? Your higher self would tell your crush to stay optimistic. Stay optimistic about this love, this potential relationship. They're saying that their positive thinking could manifest you into their world. Let's take another card. What else would your higher self say? Now, you know, this card is children. It could be that you or your crush has children, and spirit is saying that will be a beautiful addition to this relationship. Maybe your crush or maybe you eventually want children, and that can be another issue. Also, it's saying here the possibility is that both of you, your crush and yourself, will have your inner child feel so safe in this relationship, group number one. And there's something about that inner child work that your crush is being invited to do, because you are so in touch with your own inner child, your own past wounded self. You've done a lot of healing, and I think that your higher self is saying to your crush, there's an invitation there to meet you at that same level, that same vibrational level. So group number one, let's go to the tarot really quick. What would your higher self, any final messages your higher self wants to give to your crush? The Empress. Regardless of your gender, you are a very creative leader. You're very much looked up to because of the way that you manifest in this world. The way you carry yourself is that of an Empress. And let's choose one more card. Oh, wow. King of Swords. There's a way in which you're also very discerning. You use your wisdom to help you navigate a lot of life's issues. And lastly, you are a person that's ready to start a new journey in terms of relationships. You've done a lot of work, and you're ready to move forward here in a new relationship, a new opportunity. So I hope that was helpful for your crush, and let me know if you resonate with this group number one. Hello, group number two. This is Kamara with Rooted Futures. Thank you for joining me for this pick a card. The pick a card is, what will you allow me, your highest self, allow me to share with your crush? And you chose this cluster, quartz cluster. It's really cool. I don't know if you could see it, but I'm trying to give it to you up close. So group number two, let's start with a bibliomancy. If you don't know what bibliomancy is, I pick usually a spiritual book, but you know, I randomly go to a page and it's going to tell me something a little bit about you to share with your crush. I chose the Tao Te Ching, translated by Stephen Mitchell. I really love this book. I mean, if you look at it, it's so used, but it has so much wisdom. If you don't know about the Tao was given by a wise elder in the Chinese tradition in ancient China, and they, you know, someone said, can you just write us like how to navigate this life? And so this is what the great master shared. So let's open up group number two and see what it opens up to you. It says here, I really love this particular passage, group number two. If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao being this way of life. Stop trying to control. Let go of fixed plans and concepts, and the world will govern itself. The more prohibitions you have, the less virtuous people will be. The more weapons you have, the less secure people will be. The more subsidies you have, the less self-reliant people will be. Therefore, the Master says, I let go of the law, and the people become honest. I let go of economics, and the people become prosperous. I let go of religion, and the people become serene. I let go of all desire for the common good, and the good becomes common as grass. So, group number 2, your higher self is saying to your crush that you understand the rhythms of life. You are not a person who thinks that you need to control everything, to have like a rigid grip on everything for things to turn out well. Perhaps in the past, this was you. Perhaps in the past, you were so controlling, so rigid, that this was a practice that you had to learn how to let go and I'm hearing let go and let God. That's kind of like a saying that I heard growing up. You let go and you let the universe take the will. And there's something that your crush will need to know about you, in the sense of you're not going to sit there and try to control outcomes. You've learned maybe that was something in the past that even caused you a lot of anxiety. Maybe some of you had to deal with a lot of cycles of anxiety and depression and perfectionism, because you were so in a grip with control. And Spirit is saying now that you've learned to let that go. You've learned at your very essence and being that you can trust yourself, you can trust others, you can trust life. So group number 2, you're already out the gate. Very beautiful your energy is. I can really feel it. Yeah, look at that. You are a person, group number 2, that seeks so much alignment. You've understand that maybe some of you work with your chakra system. Maybe you do some kind of chanting. Maybe you do some kind of meditation or Tai Chi, Qigong. Whatever you're doing, you're such a believer of alignment. You're always seeking balance. There's something about the Temperance card, even though I don't have it in the Oracle deck. This is the Oracle deck that I've kind of pre-picked for you, but we will go into Tarot in a minute. But there's something about the way that you really rely on balance in your life, group number 2. You seek balance. You're not a person who's kind of like on one end of the spectrum or the other. You're always in the middle, that middle path. That is something that you've learned over the years to value about yourself and the pace of life. The next oracle card that we have, group number 2, is Thunder and Lightning. There is, and you see here really close, this person is like meditating in the middle of the thunder and lightning. Again, it speaks to your balance in life. You are able, group number 2, your crush is going to know this about you, because Spirit is saying here, your highest self is saying that you've done so much work to stay in inner peace, to embody inner peace. And group number 2, even when things are chaotic around you, perhaps you were raised in a household that was very chaotic. If not that, maybe you work in a field that's very chaotic, like maybe your career or the kind of work you do requires a certain amount of groundedness, because things are constantly changing. You're constantly having to address fires here and there. You know, I'm hearing low-key from someone that you may actually be a firefighter or some kind of first responder. That might be some of the work you do. If you're a doctor or nurse, you may work in a field that is constantly addressing chaos. And there's something about you, group number 2, where you've learned to not get carried away with that energy. You've mastered how to be self-contained, even in the most, I'm hearing, chaotic situations. Another oracle card that we have here, your herbal guide is Dragon's Blood. A very deep, if you've ever worked with Dragon's Blood, it's very protective kind of resin that comes, I think it comes from a tree or some kind of vine, and it's like so clearing, almost like frankincense. Yeah, I wanted to check really quick here. Dragon's Blood is from South America, but it's also been known to be a purifier. So many times people are using this for health reasons, for purification, even spiritually. But what also is very interesting about Dragon's Blood is that it speaks to being one with life. And again, that resonates with the energy of you, group number 2, that you're constantly seeking wholeness, embodiment. And this Dragon's Blood might even be something that you like to burn as an incense around your house, maybe some of you. If you haven't tried it, it's really quite beautiful. So another oracle card that we have here is one of intimacy. So your higher self would tell your crush that intimacy on all levels, not just the physical level, is very important to you. This is how you're so embodied that any relationship, even your friends, platonic friends, would say that they have an intimate relationship with you. You're someone that when you are with others, you're very present with them. There's something, even a certain intensity. I forgot to mention this about the Dragon's Blood. It's kind of giving Plutonic and Scorpionic energy. Group number 1 was kind of like that too. You might be a Scorpio, or you may have Scorpio placements, 1st house, 12th house, 8th house. There's something here that's very intense about you, group number 2. Like I said, when you're with people, even some of you may have intense eyes where you look into people's eyes, you connect with them, you're very present, you're not checking your phone, you're not thinking about other things like how you're going to respond. You are very much in touch with others. People can feel how connected and how in tune you are with who they are. The last card that we have here is a possible past life energy characteristic that you may connect with, group number 2. So this past life connection, group number 2, a past life that we have many past lives, so this is just tapping into one energy that may be part of your past life that's really showing up in this life, if you believe in it. But one is that throughout your past lives, you've been a very beautiful person. You've been regarded with exceptional beauty. Whether that was in the physical or even on the inside, there is something about you that drew people to you. Again, that kind of Scorpionic, Plutonic energy where people are drawn towards you, drawn towards your energy. In a past life, you may have been the community's most beautiful person, most handsome person. You may have even been a femme fatale if you identify with that energy, just someone who is very seductive with their energy. You may have also been a sacred prostitute. Now, this is like in certain cultures, there were people who were sex workers that were in charge of teaching how to make sex a sexual sacred act, and they were called sacred prostitutes. That is, maybe for a few, if you don't identify with that, that's fine. If that doesn't fit with how you sit in this world, but some people were sacred prostitutes, courtesans, I'm hearing, whatever name. There's another word in Japanese culture for it. I'm forgetting right now. Ooh, but someone will put it in the maybe you'll put it in the comments below if you know what I'm thinking about. So that's kind of a past life quality that I think your higher self is just letting your crush know that you can be very seductive, even if you don't want to be. I think you're just practice being very present with people, but people are like, whoa, when you look into my eyes, I'm yours already, So there's something, even your higher self is saying to your crush, that you may attract a lot of people. Your crush is going to have to be very confident, because you tend to attract a lot of people. I don't get that you're disloyal, but I think that a lot of people are drawn towards you, group number 2. So let's go to just if you all had a relationship, because we could segue into that. What does your higher self want your crush to know if they want to pursue a relationship with you? That you are definitely worth waiting for. So this is kind of interesting because I'm kind of hearing this right now, that maybe some of you are currently in a relationship, maybe some of you are dating, maybe some of you are kind of in a situation where you just can't be in a relationship right now. It doesn't mean that you're with anyone else. It could just mean that you're on a serious work project, or you're traveling right now. There could be other things. Maybe you're taking care of some people in your family, but there's something about your higher self telling your crush, please, you are worth waiting for. You are worth the wait, and to trust in divine timing when it comes to your relationship. What else does your higher self want to tell your crush in terms of a possible connection with you, group number 2? Honeymoon. That you love to travel, that you would love to take intimate trips with them, that traveling could be a way that you really like to connect with your future partner. And it could be in the form of a honeymoon, but it could just, for me, this card sometimes just means travel with your partner, intimate trips. One last card. This came out in reverse, deception. Again, I think that your higher self wants to let your crush know that if they pursued a relationship with you, sometimes there can be a lot of people trying to be in your energy, but that is in no way reflective of your loyalty to the relationship and how you navigate, your values and your morals. The last thing that we're going to do is go into the tarot and just choose a few cards there. Okay, so lastly, group number 2, let's get into your tarot. What else? What final messages does your higher self have for your crush? King of Cups. I think that you are still working on emotional expression. Even though you can be very present with others, even though you have a certain intensity, there may be times where you feel your feelings, but sometimes you're a little bit more contained with those feelings, especially if you've got that scorpionic energy. There's a way in which you feel, but you don't always reveal. And that to me is that King of Cups energy. You have that emotional intelligence, but you can be a little self-contained at times. And that might be a quality that you just have. It's not that you're hiding anything. It's more that you may sit with your emotions first before you actually reveal them. What else? This 5 of Cups is saying that in the past, I'm getting, group number 2, that you have been hurt. You've had to do a lot of restoration around relationships, a lot of disappointment you may have experienced in the past. But it's these 2 cups that are standing up. I think your crush would just know that you are preparing. You may be healing from some past things, which may also be a reason why you're not fully available yet, while you're worth waiting for, is because you're doing some healing work right now, maybe from some past relationship that was a disappointment. But again, this optimism is in back of you, that it's there for you. You're not a person that's like, checked out on relationships. You're working on being more available. You're healing those parts of yourself that are still maybe a little tender from a past relationship. And lastly, there it is. Temperance. That is you, group number 2. The way that your crush needs to know that those 2 cups are your future relationship. That you want to be able to be available to pour into them, as well as them receiving love from your crush as well. Like, you see relationships like this, a beautiful give and take, a beautiful balance of emotion, also a certain kind of liberation in relationships that you value. And so that is what that healing work is doing, because you want to be back in this energy so that you could be fully available for your next relationship. So that's what I have for you, group number 2. If this resonates with you, if you like the way that I read, please leave your group in a comment below in the comment section, or like this video, or subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate your support, and I really love doing these readings too. So join me here. Hope you join me on TikTok, but thank you so much, group number 2. Take care. Hello, group number 3. This is Kamara with Rooted Futures. You chose this beautiful cone-like shell. It's really beautiful, like a little pyramid of sorts. So we're going to start with bibliomancy, and I'm choosing this Tao Te Ching. It's a small little book I've had for ages, and it's ancient wisdom that was provided by a master teacher back in the day in China. They were like, this master teacher came down from the mountain, and they were like, please share with us your wisdom of how to navigate this life. And so the Tao Te Ching was created as a guide for life. And so I'm going to pick a random page which may give your crush kind of a sense of your energy, group number 3. So let's go to that page. Number 72. It's kind of like they kind of divide them into little sections. 72. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend on authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without teaching, so that people will have nothing to learn. This is powerful about you, group number 3. Your crush, your higher self wants your crush to know that in many ways you are a wise teacher. But the way that you teach is by modeling to others. You're not necessarily an in-your-face kind of leader. I kind of get that you are a leader or a teacher of some sort. Group number 1 might resonate with you too, because that was kind of like a teacher energy. But it doesn't have to. What I'm feeling here is that you understand the way that people learn, the way that people relate. There's something very, you may have a job that's very people-centered, where you're leading people, where you're mentoring people, maybe even supervising people. It doesn't have to, it can be anywhere from psychotherapy to you're working at a retail store and you manage people. But there's a way, or customer service, like there's a way in which you understand people. You're a people person. You understand how people want to be communicated to. I think you're a great communicator, group number 3. You also stand out as someone who's very wise in their decisions when it comes to dealing with perhaps intense or very inflammatory situations. You're that person. Like, I'm hearing you're the fixer. Like, you know, if there's an issue that's coming up, you know, people say bring in group number 3. They are really going to be able to diffuse this situation. So you may even be a diplomat, or maybe that was even a past life thing. I mean, we'll find out. But here are some oracle cards that I picked ahead of time, and let's just review them because I haven't even really seen them. So your crush will know immediately. There's something about, it says soul love here. There's a lot of horns going off in my background, so Spirit is saying pay attention to this part, crush. So group number 3, at the soul level, you are a lover. That's what I'm hearing. Not only a lover of life, but a lover of people. And I don't mean that in a sexual sense. I mean that you love life. You've learned how to be grateful. Maybe over time you've had to learn gratitude. You've had to learn how to look at the positive aspects of your life. Learn to appreciate those areas in your life where you've grown. Because I'm getting here, group number 3, there might have been a time in your life where you just felt more negative. You didn't feel very positive about things. And there's something here that your crush needs to know, that you've done a lot of work to just appreciate where you are, to appreciate your growth, your expansion. So the next oracle card we have here is Moonlight. I don't know why I'm hearing this. Some of you may be a Cancer in this group, but you don't have to be. There's something about the moon and the lunar cycles that you really appreciate, though, group number 3. You may work with the moon cycles in terms of your own like power and magic, but there's also something of great admiration that you have about the moon. Maybe you find that the moon is your power symbol. There's also a way here in which, I don't know if I need to cover this up, so I'm going to cover it up with my finger. It's showing little buttocks. But I think group number 3, the moon also speaks to mystery, to things that are hidden. You don't mind dealing with mystery. You don't have to know everything. There's a way in which you can walk in this world and not always feel like you need to know what's coming next. You're very at ease with things unfolding with time. And your herb here is the rose. And again, that's it's bringing me back to the energy of that first oracle card of soul love. I think your crush will know, your higher self wants your crush to know that love means a lot to you. That you actually find that you are on a mission to experience true love, true authentic love. You're a person who love drives you. It gives you joy. It fuels your life. You love relationships. And even in spite of them sometimes being very intense, sometimes, you know, like you haven't had the best relationships, but you are a lover of love. Like I said, you're a lover of life, but you are also, group number 3, a lover of love. Even though you may have been burned in the past, you get up again. You want to try again. If the two of you are different cultures, like different races, might be the case here. Your crush might be of a different culture, or, you know, and your higher self is saying that you, group number 3, are open for that. Like, you don't mind the attraction of opposites, that you have a lot of, there's a way in which you wish to learn new and different things in your relationships. Again, there's a beautiful curiosity about you, group number 3, that I think your crush may find just nourishing. Like, you really want to know about them. You want to know their story. You want to connect with them at the deepest level. And there's this empathy that you have, that your higher self wants to communicate to your crush. That you are not only are you an empathic person, but you have so much empathy. You're the kind of person who would find it difficult not to help others. In fact, maybe over the years, you've had to learn how to put some boundaries up around how you caregive, how you navigate even energy vampires, I'm hearing. Like sometimes you have had to learn that you've had to put up certain rules for yourself in terms of how you help others and how you extend yourself. Like maybe some of you have had to learn how to even check in with yourself to see what your capacity is, group number 3. So your crush is going to know that your beautiful, tender heart is a place where you've had to learn in this world how to walk in life caring, but also looking out for yourself, protecting yourself. Maybe for your crush, your higher self will say that, not that it's your crush's responsibility, but just you may do well with someone who wants to help protect your energy. And lastly, we have this past life card. Now, this is just like a past life energy that we're tapping into with this card, group number 3. It may be a characteristic that you've carried over from several past lives, but this is something that your higher self, I said future self, that's kind of interesting. Your higher self wants to bring forward for your crush so they'll know a little bit more about you. And this is the healer. So group number 3, the healer is an energy that you carry in this life, possibly from other past lives. If you believe in it, we have a lot of different past lives, but in a past life you might have been a herbalist, it says here. You may have been a faith healer. You may have been a midwife for some of you, or a doctor. So and for some of you, you may even have those jobs, something related to those jobs now. You may be an herbalist now. And I think your higher self is communicating to your crush that healing, the process of healing, especially on the physical level, is important to you. Whether you just do it for yourself or you assist others in doing that, you are very much the embodiment of a healer. You may like to grow your own herbs. I'm hearing about some of you. You may make concoctions. You may whip your own lotion together, like body butters and stuff like that. I'm kind of hearing that from some of you. So that may be some of you. Others of you, you may detox. You may like detoxing. You may like to do a lot of self-healing. Now, others of you, I'm getting that you work with others to heal. Someone does sound baths, or they're thinking about learning how to do sound baths. So group number 3, this is just a characteristic that your higher self wants your crush to know. So let's talk about what would a relationship with you look like, possibly, if this crush wanted to move forward with you, group number 3. And I'm sorry about the sunlight, but it's kind of giving something interesting here. So we'll keep it going. Hopefully it's not too distracting. But what does your higher self want your group number 3 want your crush to know about a possible relationship with you? Let your friends help you. So group number 3, you may have friends in common with your crush. This person who wants to know more about you. You all may have friends in common who can introduce you, or you may meet each other through a group of friends. That's kind of interesting. Let's take another card. Wow, this group, I'm really getting there's a deep love soul connection here. So this person, group number 3, this crush for you, and your higher self is saying this is your soulmate. This is someone who you've had past ties with, someone you have energetic ties with. One last card. Very soon. soon you will connect with this crush. Maybe they're going to see this reading and they're going to be like, I've got to get in touch with group 3, because there's just, they're getting all the affirmation that they need about this possible connection with you. Let's go to the tarot cards really quick and get any final message that your higher self would give me permission to communicate to your crush, group number 3. Let's see here. Final messages for this crush. 7 of Cups came out in reverse. You're not the kind of person that's going to be looking for a lot of options. You're kind of done with that phase of your life. If that was your phase of your life, hold on, I'm gonna pause. There's a car with a lot of music. Hold on. Sorry about that, group number 3, but I live in a very busy neighborhood, especially on a Saturday. I'm filming this on a Saturday. It's off the charts over here. But back to you, group number 3. Your crush would know that when you are attracted to someone, you're very focused on that relationship and building that relationship, so they wouldn't have to worry. In many ways, you are also in a Queen of Swords energy. Right now, you really want something that's serious. You want to feel like this is a good, not only through your heart, but you want to feel that this is a good logical connection. There's some way in which you use your logic to figure out what could this relationship be as a benefit for both of you. And lastly, there's a lot of attraction here. So your higher self would want your crush to know, yes, they're attracted to you. The attraction is mutual. So group number 3, let me know in the comments below if this resonated with you. I really appreciate reading for you. Take care. All right. Hello, group number 4. This is Kamara with Rooted Futures. Thank you for joining me here for this pick a card. What would your higher self allow me to tell your crush about you? And you chose this beautiful cowrie shell. Has a little bit of pink in the back, a little bit of a hole there, but beautiful lavender, kind of pinkish cowrie shell for you, group number 4. So let's start with bibliomancy. If you don't know what that is, I love doing it. I pick like a spiritual book usually, and then I'll go to a random page and we'll connect it in terms of your energy, the character of your energy. We're doing the Tao Te Ching, which is a translation by Stephen Mitchell. And this is an ancient Chinese text. The story was a great master who had been living in isolation came down, and people were like, listen, we need your guidance. Can you whip something up to tell us how to navigate life? And so this was the Tao. And so the Tao is kind of a philosophy of living. And so let's go, group number 4, to a random page and see what it says about your energy. Let's see. Okay. Group number 4. Okay. It says here, group number 4. I like this one. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. If you realize you have enough, you are truly rich. If you stay in the center and embrace death with your whole heart, you will endure forever. That's number 33 in the Tao. So group number 4, immediately I get the sense of your energy, that your crush will be told that you are a very centered person, that you've learned over life. You might be a little bit older. You've learned to not fear death. Maybe perhaps, there might have been a death of a person who was really close to you. I don't know why it's coming to me right now. Some of you might be a medium of some sort, like someone who can communicate with those who have passed over, or you do some kind of very deep ancestral work, group number 4. But you've learned in this life from your ancestors how to master yourself, to take the focus. I think a huge lesson that has been there for you in your life, group number 4, is that you don't externalize your experiences anymore. You're very much putting the focus on yourself. What could you, even if there's something that happened that was definitely the fault of someone else, you still go inward and say, what lesson can I learn from this situation? So any kind of bad relationship, any kind of bad situations at work, you go within, you master yourself. And I'm sorry about the light. The light's doing some interesting stuff. I'm just gonna leave it here. It's kind of the midday, and so the sun is doing something, so I hope it's not a distraction, you all. But this is, your crush is gonna learn that there's something about you. This feels like a bit of a maturity here. You've learned over the years that how to navigate life from a place of centering yourself, not selfish, but being in the center of your experiences, centering your feelings and your emotions in a very healthy way. Group number 4, divine masculine energy. This could be one or two things. You are a divine masculine. This is the energy you mostly carry in your life, regardless of your gender. Or this could be that you've worked really hard, even if you're a divine feminine embodied person or a feminine embodied person, whatever that is, or non-binary, regardless of your gender, there's some way in which you've really learned how to become the divine masculine, how to use your masculine energy in a healthy, non-toxic, non-patriarchal way. And this is a huge lesson that you've learned, group number 4, in this lifetime. So the next card we have here, which is very interesting, group number 4, is She-Wolf. So there's this sense, group number 4, that you're a person who definitely balances their masculine and their feminine energy. You've learned how to master that in some way. Now, if you identify as femme or woman or non-binary, however you identify, this she-wolf energy speaks to your wildness. It speaks to how you can embody even that energy of a lone wolf. Like, you don't mind being different, group number 4. You don't mind being the unique one. You don't mind if people don't really fully understand you. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. And your crush needs to, maybe this is why your crush is attracted to you, group number 4, because you're your own person. You're very unique. You live life based on your experiences and your understanding of the world. Very powerful, group number 4. The herb that kind of is showing up here, which is very deep too, is the Mitra Gina, which is, and it says shape-shifting. Now, if you look at that shape-shifting card, group number 4, that is, I think that's how you master your uniqueness. You can go into several different situations, group number 4, and acclimate, learn how to be in those situations, learn how to be yourself, but you learn also how to become embodied in those situations. You can embody many different energies at many different times. You may be Gemini in this group, or that kind of resonates, that energy could resonate with you of that sign. You're able to tap into the twinship, your duality, group number 4. And that duality for some of you may even speak, I'm just hearing for a small group of you, it doesn't have to be all of you, it could even speak to you sexually. Like, you're able to be in a dual nature sexually. For some people that could be bisexual, but it's like, it doesn't have to be. But what it is saying is that you are comfortable expressing many sides of yourself. Sometimes people will literally complain that they don't know you, that you're too different all the time. And I think over the years, group number 4, you've learned how to be accepting of how you walk in the world, accepting of your unique nature. And there's something here from the ashes. Wow. I think this self-acceptance came along, group. I'm going to have to do a little cover here of my finger. So, just because YouTube has rules. I think this self-acceptance came along, group number 4, because you literally had to burn down a version of yourself that wasn't serving yourself any longer. You literally turned into the Phoenix, group number 4, and you rebirthed yourself. You may have even reparented yourself to a version that felt much more authentic to you. On the back it says, release outgrown ideas. Yeah, you released outgrown ideas. You decided to take on the challenge of becoming more stronger in your life, more embodied in your life. You learned to trust yourself. You learned how to even anticipate breakthroughs, to heal old stories. Some of you might have done a lot of work in therapy or a lot of work in a self-healing process that allowed for you to explore your past narrative, group number 4, but also to bring it forward into this new person that you are. Wow, like I'm getting the word restoration, restored, renewed. Like you may have even rebuilt your life. You may have cleansed your life of a lot of toxic relationships, group number 4, and you cleansed everything to become brand new. Quite literally, you are a phoenix. Some of you, I'm hearing, might even have a phoenix tattoo. So, or something meaningful like that. A bird with fire. So group number 4, these past life cards are just meant to say that there may be a past life energy. We have many past lives. Which one are you tapping into right now? Which energy is kind of showing up for you in the present life from the past life, if you believe in this? And this is one of nature worship we see right here. And I apologize for the light if it's kind of, hopefully you could see these. Nature worship here, it says, some of you might be pagan. You may have pagan Wiccan beliefs. You may believe in animism, like the belief that there's life in even all kinds of objects in nature. Like I'm hearing some of you might love hugging trees or going out in nature and communicating with the water. You're very much a nature lover. Your cosmology might be that it includes nature. You may be into some kind of mysticism even, or you may even be like of the druid. You may practice some kind of druid cosmology. Either way, I'm getting the sense that some of you may call yourself a witch. You may call yourself like an herbalist. Either way, and herbalism was the last group too, so that might be of interest to someone. But what I'm going to say here, group number 4, is that you get a lot of your wisdom from nature. And that speaks into this life too. Whenever you need to ground, whenever you have problems, I think you find your peace in nature. You find that you can get yourself centered again if you're in nature. And so that's what your crush will know. Now, if this crush wants to pursue a relationship with you, what would your higher self give me permission to kind of let that crush know? So let's see. What does your higher self want to let this crush know in terms of a possible relationship with you? Forgiving and learning. You are a person, group number 4, that your higher self wants your crush to know that you're not gone after one fight. You know how to forgive. You would rather stick with things for the long run, not in a codependent way, but you have learned the lessons of forgiveness. You've learned how to stick with the rough patches and communicate better and change some things to keep a relationship going. You're also a person that feels like you deserve love. Like you've grown in so many ways. Your self-worth is very present in relationships. You may have deep boundaries that you don't want a partner to cross. And if they did, you would know right away, this is not for me. I deserve the very best in love. So your crush would know that you are not going to compromise on how you're being treated. You're not going to compromise on the things that you find very important for a relationship. And lastly, you will make the effort. Again, I think that's reinforcing the very first card, which was, what was that said again? Yeah, forgiving and learning. You, group number 4, will make tremendous efforts in your relationship to be understood, to understand. There's a way in which you work for love. That's what I'm hearing. I'm even hearing that song, Work for Love. But anyway, it's an old new wave song, but you know. So any last messages that your higher self has for your crush here? Group number 4. Yeah, temperance is very important for you. Balance in your relationship, pouring into each other. This is going to be important for you, group number 4. Your crush needs to know that you're not going to be that kind of person that wants to just spend every waking moment with them. Although you want quality time, you want a balance in your life. That's what I'm hearing, group number 4. Also, there's a way in which you're still learning how to communicate your emotions. You're working on things, and you still see that sometimes you need to be better at communicating about your emotions. And lastly, you're willing, your crush needs to know, you're willing to leave something if it's not right for you. So yeah, group number 4. So let me know how it goes below. Please make a comment. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what pile you picked and if it resonated with you. And I look forward to reading for you. Thank you so much. Peace. Hello, group number 5. Last but not least, thank you. I'm Kamara with Rooted Futures. You chose this beautiful petrified wood. It's kind of like a stone, but it's petrified wood. It's been polished. Group number 5. So let's find out, what would your higher self give me permission as a reader to tell your crush about you? Let's start off with some bibliomancy. And what bibliomancy is that I choose a spiritual book and I open up a random page, and that random page is hopefully going to tap into your energy, group number 5. And I chose the Tao Te Ching. It's translated by Stephen Mitchell. I really love this version. I've had this little book forever. I love the Tao. The story of the Tao is that a great master who had probably been living in the mountains somewhere in China, ancient China, came down, and the people were like, after a lot of war, were like, please give us wisdom for how to live our lives in peace. And supposedly this great master came up with the Tao. The Tao is a philosophy of life. So let's choose a random page in here for you, group number 5. So group number 5, what would the Tao say? Okay, group number 5, chapter 32, if you want to call it that. The Tao cannot be perceived, and the Tao again is a philosophy. Smaller than an electron, it contains uncountable galaxies. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace, and the law would be written with their hearts. So group number 5, and I'm sorry for this kind of light situation. The sun is going down here, and hopefully this is not distracting to you, but I think it's offering an essence of you, group number 5, that your crush would be told that there's a way in which you understand harmony from a heart-centered way. You worked a lot with your heart over the years, maybe even in the recent past. Your heart, maybe a heart chakra even, You're very heart-centered in your approach to life now. You understand that ultimately compassion, I get a sense that you, group number 5, you work with compassion. Maybe some of you, something is saying here that if you are Buddhist, and this would probably only resonate with people who've done a Buddhist practice, you do metta practice. Like metta means sending loving kindness out into the world. It's a special way of meditating and sending out loving kindness as energy out into the world for healing. You may have a version of that in your own spiritual practice if it's not Buddhism, but group number 5, I'm getting the sense that you are someone in which this hard work means a lot to you. Now, the very first card that we got out, that's very interesting. The last group number 4, had the divine masculine, and group number 5, you have the divine feminine. So regardless of your gender, there's something about the divine feminine energy, group number 5, that you have been working on, cultivating that within yourself. For some of you, you may have been doing a lot of research on matriarchal societies. What does the feminine bring even to spiritual beliefs if you've been raised mostly in a patriarchal religion? There's some way, and you may even just be ancestrally exploring the matrilineal line in your family. Maybe there's something about womanhood at its very base level. Again, it doesn't have to be about gender, but you may even be a womanist. You're coming into that feminism regardless of your gender. And there's something here about the divine feminine energy that your higher self wants your crush to know that you highly value. You value the divine feminine. It's an intricate part of your life. And regardless of how you show up in a body, you value the divine feminine. It's a very important aspect of your life. Group number 5. And the next oracle card we have here, group number 5, is the rising. Some of you obviously might be a Leo, or Leo might be prominent in your chart. I'm hearing also something around the last Leo moon in regards to this crush. That connection might have been made already in the last Leo moon. I don't know why that's coming up, but I'm just communicating that. The rising. You've been working a lot on your strength, group number 5, and that is what your higher self wants your crush to understand. That there's a way in which you're learning how to embody your magic, how your power, your strength, and embodying that. It's almost as if it's put you in contact with your cosmic ancestors. There's stars all around this lion. There's a way in which your cosmic ancestors have been assisting you in becoming an even stronger version of yourself, group number 5. So your crush is going to know that they're dealing with a very strong person, a strong-willed person, someone who's overcome a lot of maybe challenging situations, group number 5. Your herb is arnica. And arnica is the teacher here. There's such a teacher theme throughout this whole reading, throughout many groups in this pick a card. And arnica here is, if you haven't tried it, it's a pain reliever. Like it could be a topical pain reliever. And here the energy of arnica and your energy, group number 5, is that of the teacher. You could be a great leader. You could be quite literally a teacher. Like I said, there's a few other groups in which that's happening. I get the sense here, though, that you are a teacher of a certain kind of craft. Maybe you teach other people about herbs or gardening. You may be a teacher that teaches about mythology, about dreams. There's something here, even with this open gate, group number 5, you may be a teacher of mysticism or shamanism. You may have something that you do on the psycho-spiritual level that you offer up to others as a teacher, group number 5. So one thing that your crush needs to know is that perfectionism has been something in life that you've needed you've learned how to reframe that for yourself. It might have been in the most recent past, or maybe even in the long past. You had to learn how to shift some areas in your life where you grew up being conditioned that things had to be perfect. You had to be perfect. Conditions had to be perfect. And you've reclaimed a part of your inner child, group number 5, that allows that inner child to go back to innocence, that allows yourself to be in a place of new beginnings, that allows yourself to experience every new experience as a new possibility. And group number 5, it took you a long time for some of you to get to this place, to drop the anxiety around being perfect, having to be perfect. And now you allow your inner child to be a child of the universe. There's something very spiritual about your inner child work, group number 5, that has brought you to being a great leader. It's something that you've done, maybe even in therapy, group number 5. A past life that is coming up here is that of the performer, group number 5. Now, past lives, this is just a card that's indicating there may be some characteristics, some energies that even in this present life you've gotten from past lives, if you believe in that. But this performer could be that you were once into acting, or maybe you currently are. Maybe you're a dancer, an entertainer, or a musician. There's something about the way that you do this work. There's something about the entertainment industry that's connected to you, group number 5. Maybe you're aspiring to do this. Maybe you have this as a hobby, but there's some way in which you find deep healing, deep alignment with the arts. Dancing, singing, musician, entertainer of some sort, group number 5. So group number 5, let's go to some cards that we'll talk about. What does your higher self want me to let your crush know? If they want to pursue a relationship with you, what do they need to know? That this healing family issues came out in reverse, meaning to me, I'm taking it as you've done a lot of work on healing family issues. There might have been some past traumas I'm hearing, some past ruptures that you really had to put together. You had to do some work on. It doesn't necessarily mean that you might be in contact with your family. Maybe you had to come to the conclusion that there would be no contact with certain family members. Or maybe you went through a rough divorce for some of you. Take this all as it resonates. Some of you might have been through a really rough divorce or a rough breakup in a past relationship, something that you had to heal. And in that healing, you've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of growth around relationships. Yes, you have released your ex. So maybe you realize, group number 5, that you had to release your ex in order to move forward. And your crush is going to know that you are either currently in that process, or you've just kind of went through that process of releasing an old past relationship. It doesn't have to necessarily be an ex, but a very significant relationship that broke or ruptured. You are working through that, or you've currently finished working through that. And lastly, for some of you, the cards are speaking here, the separation. For some of you, a separation occurred. You may have gotten divorced. You may be currently in a separation. So they're just letting, your higher self is letting your crush know. For some of you, not all of you, you are currently in the middle of a breakup. You are emerging out of a significant relationship. Again, it doesn't always have to be romantic. For some of you, it will be like you had to deal with some family issues that, extended family issues that cost you a lot of challenge and pain, but you're coming out of it, and it's giving you time to be in a relationship, or very soon you'll have time to be in a relationship, group number 5. Your crush is going to hear that. So let's go to the tarot and get any last messages from the tarot. There's something here about I think whatever happened in your past relationship may have been the result of overworking. Maybe your relationship suffered because of so much time that you had to spend working. Because this card came out reverse, I think you are now in a place where that's more balanced in your life. You're looking at how to be in relationship and also be in your career. Having a work-life balance, I'm hearing, is very important to you now. You see how your relationships may have suffered as a result of focusing too much on work or on your career. Yes, your higher self is letting your crush know that was disappointing. Like some things that you pursued, you may have pursued success or something in your past relationships was very disappointing, but you're also very optimistic. Another group had this. You're very optimistic about the future. You're having to heal a few things right now, but there's still 2 cups behind you, meaning you're still open to relationship. You're still open to love, group number 5. Yeah, look at the sun here. You will be, or you are open to a new beginning. Something that you're ready to come out and shine your light. You're ready to maybe start dating soon. And your crush is going to know that when you're up for it, it's going to feel like the sun is out. You know, you're going to be attractive. You're going to be, your energy is going to say everything like, yes, let's go out. Yes, let's date, you know. But in the meantime, there's just been, this cup for you is coming in a little bit slower, group number 5, and I think your crush is gonna know that. Like, it's a little bit more slow. It's not immediate, but there is a cup here that you're definitely attracted to them, that you definitely feel some kind of energy exchange with them. So group number 5, let me know how this reading went for you. Comment below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. I really love reading for you. Take care. I'll see you in the next reading. All right. Peace.